Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of JourneyCast. My name is Levi, and joining me today is Ben.
Hello.
Jordan.
Hello.
And Victoria.
Hi.
This is a bit of a different setup. We've got an extra guest.
Yep.
Jordan had his own mic, so we were able to make that work.
Yay.
Let's
go.
So, Jordan, thanks for joining in and bringing your own equipment. It's not common for someone to have that.
Yeah.
You guys were out at Whispering Pines over the summer.
Yes.
We were.
Do you want to tell everyone your camp names first? Ben, why don't you start us off?
Do you want to know the reason for them as well?
Yeah, what
What
are
is the
camp
meaning?
names?
Okay.
And why do they exist?
What is the meaning of name?
So
We need to get into that too.
Yeah.
So my camp name was Franklin, and the original name for it was because Benjamin Franklin,
Right.
but it kind of spun off into Franklin the Turtle.
Yeah.
So it was like it was
old
really
TV
weird.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like my alter ego.
Did you watch that when you were a kid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it and I read the books too.
I specifically have a memory of one episode where he he leaves a book outside or something and it rains.
Damn.
And so whoever was like, I think he borrowed the book from someone. And they're like, take good care of it. And then he left it outside and got rained on. And he's like trying to fix it.
Oh, that
Is it the
sucks.
Bible?
It was you.
That's
The Bible.
This is the Bible.
I don't know if it was the Bible.
So
It might have
sad.
been. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but the whole reason behind camp names in general is to for privacy reasons. So
Yeah.
kids don't go home and start looking you up on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan, you kind of failed with this.
I
right
did.
off
On the
the bat.
very first day.
The very first day.
Should that be my embarrassing story? Because that was pretty embarrassing.
That could be.
It
yeah.
could be.
Do you want to say it now or at the end?
Say it now.
Well, tell us your name first. Yeah.
It's Mordecai.
Mordecai. What's Mordecai from?
It's from regular show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And-
He's the bird, right?
Yeah, he's the bird.
Yeah.
And literally my only reason was I like regular show. And they're like, okay.
Sounds like a pretty regular show.
It is-
Yeah.
It's not regular. It's everything but regular.
But when you introduced yourself to the campers on the first day, what'd you say?
I didn't say Mordecai.
What?
I didn't
What'd
say
you
Mordecai.
say?
It was so
I
funny.
said,
Tell him exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Well,
What'd you say?
listen,
Get up on
listen,
stage
okay,
and you say
listen,
what?
listen.
You say what?
Give the context.
Yeah, so the context was
Yeah, the context is we have an introduction.
Yeah.
where
You
we
might
get
want
all
to get a
the
little
kids
bit closer to
together.
your mic.
So
you
everybody-
can hold it if you want.
everybody at the very beginning, they say their camp name, what they do, and then they have like this little question. So we're all going, and then it gets to Mordecai.
Listen,
what do you say?
The questions, they don't ask us the questions beforehand so we can prepare an answer. So we have to
Right.
prepare an answer while we're doing it.
So you got
Yeah.
distracted.
And I was thinking way too hard about the question. I completely forget. Wait, what was the question again?
don't-
If you had a
Super-
superpower, what would it be?
Superpowers. And then I was thinking too hard about the thing. And then I got the mic and I was still thinking about the thing. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm Jordan. And then
We all just like stared at him.
and then
We didn't say anything.
And then like Sterling turns over to me and he's like, who?
And
So
Ruben,
bad.
both of them at the
It's so
exact same
bad.
time.
And then I came up with an answer for my superpower. It was so I could wipe people's minds. So I
Wipe
would've-
their minds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'd forget.
Yeah.
So
that I
like,
said that.
would you have control over what you're wiping from their mind, or their whole mind?
No, what I want.
like
So
specific.
you'd be able to read their
Specifically.
mind too.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Sure.
Wow.
No, I
Just a
Because you
byproduct.
have to
Talk
know
about
what
that.
you're erasing.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, maybe just the things I said. And
Yeah.
I know they know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like any interaction with you specifically.
Yeah.
So you couldn't help with anyone else's interaction.
Well,
I guess not. I don't know.
So if I was like, Jordan, I said this really mean thing to Ben, could you wipe his memory about it? I would have to like tell you what it was about, and then you could try.
And then I could try.
Or it
Okay.
could be like
How
Men
long
in
ago
Black.
was this?
Yeah.
A month ago. I can
I'm
I'm just
wipe
gonna
his
turn up your
memory
mic
from
a
a
little
month
bit.
ago.
Hold on.
It could be like Men in Black as well, where it's like you just flash like a certain amount of time away.
Yeah, grab my little pen.
We can't do that and not tell them what it's about.
Okay, so Candace, Ben's mom, was the speaker
Yeah.
out at the camp. She hid memory verses all over the camp in
Yeah.
like this invisible ink. So she gave everyone black lights to go searching
Little
around the
keychains.
camp.
And
Yeah.
she very specifically told the kids like not to flash them around. But she didn't. Yeah, but she didn't tell the counselors. So we were just we were just walking around and just like flashing them. We were just
I think
It's mostly
Zahid started
It's
that.
mostly
Hey?
yeah. So he definitely
It's like
started.
That makes sense.
We're getting a little Victoria.
This one kid in my cabin was like,
Your name?
I have to tell this quick. He like turns his light. This is always a problem every year. He turns his flashlight to like the strobe setting.
Oh my gosh,
no.
dude.
I'm like, dude, don't do that. Some kid might have epilepsy. And
Yeah.
you could like,
Pass away.
you could give them a seizure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not good. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's true. I have epilepsy.
The strangest thing.
Why are you doing it then?
That
should
was
know
that
not
was
to.
like every that was like
No.
every cabin. There's at least one kid that would do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's, why did they,
For
that like
what?
a
there should be
Maybe
a way
for
to
the boys.
disable the strobe feature on a flashlight if it's
Yeah.
for a kid.
Yeah, because like when you turn it on, you have to go to it, right?
Like I understand
Turn
if
it
like
on.
you're hiking and like
You have to-
want a
you have to
strobe
go to it, yeah.
to
Or
like
you're
get someone's
lost.
attention.
Or like a plane, yeah. That
Like
works.
and I
Yeah.
think some of them have the
Yeah.
SOS,
Yeah.
Morse code, whatever. But yeah,
It's not even like you press
crazy.
it. You have to like press it a couple times to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
even activate
Put
it.
in effort
Yeah.
to turn it on.
oh, do you remember the ones you have to like generate
Crank.
the power?
Yeah,
the crank
the-
ones.
Yeah.
I never had one
What?
of those.
I remember the
wish
kids
I
that were
did.
like, we're playing a night game. He's like, can you turn my flashlight on?
Can you
I can't.
crank?
I'm tired from cranking it.
My arm is too sore.
Why did you buy that? Well, it never needs batteries.
It never.
Yeah, but it needs you, and you're too tired to do
It's
it.
you.
Okay, Victoria, what was your camp name?
My
You've had a
camp-
few camp names.
Yeah.
Yes, I changed.
So what was your
my-
first camp
My
name?
first one was churro.
Yeah.
Yes,
Churros.
churro, because I like churros and I'm Spanish, so it made sense to me.
Oh, and also this Victoria is Josue's sister.
Oh yes, the famous
So
one.
we did an episode with Josue, and he
Yes, he
shouted
did.
out you.
I think
he was
for
the
musical
first.
talent.
For music, oh
Yeah.
yes.
He
I
got
think he
all
was the
his-
first.
Well-
he was the first guest.
No, that was
No,
Spencer's
but
the
he
first
was
guest.
the
Oh, Spencer was the first
Highest
guest. My brother-in-law.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well now he has musical talent because
Yes.
he's playing
Does
on
he actually?
Sunday.
What does he
With
play?
me.
This Sunday?
No, on
Oh.
the 3rd.
Oh, nice.
What does he play?
Bass.
Bass.
Oh yeah, he
You
played
didn't
at
listen
you.
He
to the
played at
podcast?
youth. He's literally been
I
Didn't
totally
listen
forgot.
to the podcast.
That was a long time ago. Okay.
Or-
Yeah, but he's rising the ranks.
Have you wiped his memory?
I did.
Yeah, he
just now.
definitely did.
I did it.
I did it.
Okay, so churro,
Yeah,
and then you changed it.
I did.
Is that even allowed?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I did it.
For certain people, I think
For
you're allowed
certain-
to.
Well, everyone else wanted to keep the same name, and I did
Well, see,
Kids are
Eli.
gonna come back from last year and be like, "Wait, aren't you churro?" And you're
Yes.
like,
That's what
"No,
happened.
that was my
it. That
That's what
is
sister."
what
happened.
happened. That's
People
what
kept calling
I'm
her
happened.
Churro.
Calico. Oh, sorry, I just spoiled your,
You
your
did.
name. Your
My
name is
name
somewhere.
is Calico.
Yeah.
Calico.
For those who don't know, like myself, because I'm not an enthusiast in this area, what
What?
is a calico?
It's a cat.
It's a type of cat.
It's a type
Yes.
of cat. Yeah.
Specifically the
It has multiple
Orange-
colors. I actually don't know much
orange,
about
brown,
them.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
white
it's
with like
mainly
orange
white,
or brown
and then it's
spots.
got like this.
I thought they're like
I
a
have
mix of
one.
everything.
Yeah.
Did you even
kind
know
of.
that's what that cat was called before camp? You're like, I
No,
like those
I
cats.
searched it up.
Oh, really?
You searched it up after you
Like, what's-
called yourself
What's that cat
No.
with all
Before?
the
No, when
What's
I
the
was
cat
trying to
with all the
figure out the
spots?
name.
spots? Yeah.
Did you know
all the
that
colors.
75% of calico cats are born deaf?
Really?
Yeah, I have one.
Are
and
you
it's
deaf,
Are
Victoria?
you deaf?
Is that one of the reasons?
Ah,
Are you
I
part?
don't
Are you
know.
part of the 75%?
I don't think so. I'm pretty special.
My name was Moose,
Yep.
mainly because of the camp song, "The Moose Full of Juice."
Yes.
Yeah. Fred.
whose name was Fred. I could change
Yeah.
my name to
Fred.
Fred.
Wow.
You very well
could.
could.
Very well could. But yeah, it was just like it was a fitting name. I didn't want just to like pick some random name. It took
No.
me a while. It took me a few days, I think.
A few days.
A few days.
Is that still your favorite camp song? Or was it ever?
I mean,
Well-
I like to lead it, but I mean, like it's. I think my favorite camp song, might be Zumba Za.
course.
Zumbaza is good.
Zumbaza is
I
good.
think
It's a
Zumbaza,
good
I thought it
one.
was my favorite for a while, but then I put it second because Rattling Bog.
Yes,
Zumbaza on
Rattling
Rattling Bog was
Rattling Bog
definitely.
is like
Love
up there.
Rattling Bog.
It definitely
The
got
best one.
people going.
Yeah.
I also like the Oreo song.
That's
Oh,
a good one
Oreo
too.
song is good.
Do you even know who wrote that song?
Yeah. Who was it again?
One of
It's
the,
the
old
guy.
counselors, no?
The guy.
Or a friend of Denver.
Alex?
Yeah, he came. He
No.
came as the speaker one year. Like, not
What?
last year. Or did he?
Andreas?
Maybe you wiped
He
your own
definitely
memory.
no,
Wait,
because
no.
I remember Denver was talking about
Yeah.
who wrote it, but I don't
thought-
remember who.
It was Dave Morin.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I know Dave.
Was he a speaker?
He was a speaker, and his son came. It was like I thought that was like not this summer, but like the summer before. He came for like a few weeks, and he was a speaker.
What? I
Yeah.
thought it
Was
was,
he actually?
Devar was the
Devar
speaker.
was the speaker.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Oh, wait.
Devar was
How far back am I thinking?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, he
Before
came though. He came
COVID.
though.
Way too far.
I'm 100% sure.
I feel like I
Okay.
would have known about
Yeah.
this.
I don't know.
Well, he did.
Anyways, yeah, he wrote the song. I think that was even before I
Yeah.
was in youth.
Oh, okay.
So that song's like
Very old.
probably 20 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I thought you were gonna say like he's dead. How was he there?
No,
He's
no,
dead.
he is very much alive.
Yeah.
He's alive.
Yeah,
I saw him.
no, he's in. I think they're in Red Deer. He used to be the youth pastor here.
Was he actually?
Yep, yeah, and he wrote that song. I think he improvised it. I think it was. I could be wrong.
Like on the spot, improvised it, or
I think he was at the campfire, and someone was walking up with Oreos, and so he said,
Oh,
"There's
shoot.
a guy over there with a big
Really?
bag of
No way.
no way.
But why was it a bag?
Looks pretty good."
Because I've never seen a bag of Oreos.
Well, you could call that a bag.
Yeah,
'cause
you can call it a
opens-
bag.
Well, yeah, because you
It
open
is
it,
a
you open
bag.
it like a bag.
There's a guy over there with a tray of Oreos.
There's that tray.
It's more
Technically,
like a
technically,
tray.
it's a tray.
yeah,
That doesn't.
it's not a
He
bag.
just said bag. Okay, don't judge him.
It works
It's
better.
a tray, but it's in a resealable bag.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in a bag.
Yeah.
Big bag of
Yeah.
Oreos.
Yeah,
It looks
I
pretty
I
good.
guess so.
Plus, bag sounds better than tray.
Yeah.
You don't say
That's true.
a
There's
tray
a
of
guy
For
over
oil.
song
there.
purposes, it
I'm
sounds
pretty
way
sure he
better.
wrote it at the campfire. I'm not 100%
That is
sure.
very
Could
very
be wrong.
impressive.
If
Lord.
any of the Dave or his relatives are watching, please comment and correct that.
He definitely is.
100%.
Yeah, you guys know Nathan, right? Jansen?
Yes.
His uncle is Dave.
Oh.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, so,
I
so
didn't
Nathan
know
might
that.
know.
Oh,
Daniel
okay.
might know.
Wow.
There's
Yeah.
a few people who might know. But yeah, but to get your camp name, there's a special
Council.
I was on the council.
council.
I was also on the
We had a very
So
special
you were on the
privilege.
council?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
on the
for
council.
the
I'm sad I didn't get like a reaffirmation.
I know.
Yeah, why didn't you
Why
do it?
didn't you do
Why
it?
didn't you do
I
it?
don't know.
We could have
was
done it
never,
for you.
I wanted it.
Bring it
Yeah.
up.
I wanted it to happen.
Fight
I'll bring it
for
up
it.
next
Let's
year.
do it
Fight
right
for
now.
it. Yeah. Okay.
We
we're
have
ready.
council.
I feel
Call
like
Denver.
Maybe-
we need
We need
Denver.
Denver.
We
Maybe
need
we should
Denver.
Yeah,
explain
Denver's,
what we did at the camp, like what
So-
our roles were,
Yeah,
before
okay.
we talk about that, because
So-
it makes sense why these two
This
did
is a
it,
very
the
long
council.
introduction.
Okay, so wait, weren't you all just cabin leaders?
Well, they
No,
they
we
were
were-
they were head cabin
we were
leaders.
head cabin
Oh.
I was
They
a head
were-
cabin leader.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
You all-
just I
that
was
you were
just
a
a,
shows
junior
how-
cabin leader.
I was no, I'm
No,
just
he
a
was
normal
a
cabin
cabin
leader.
leader.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
normal.
so I was a normal cabin leader for the boys, but sometimes I did activity leader.
So you were in charge of all the other guy counselors, like cabin leaders?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, not
Yes.
really.
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
he was.
Yes, he
Yes.
was.
Yes.
But you never did
Any
your
problems,
job.
any problems or grievances, we went to him.
Yeah.
Really?
But
Yeah.
he helped me way more than I helped him.
What friends are for?
It
Pastor's
was great.
kid, hey?
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So that's why you were on the council then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, I experienced this last year. I come to the camp and then they're like, yeah, you got to pick a camp name, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do like Moose. And they're like, okay,
Yeah.
but we can't call you that until after the ceremony tonight. I'm like, ceremony? And they're like, yeah. So I go to the campfire at night,
Yeah.
and I think Denver was in a banana suit. I'm not sure.
He was.
he was.
I don't know.
I don't remember
Maybe,
that.
maybe not. Maybe I'm just.
Well, we
Sometimes he's
we
wearing
always
a
just
banana
like
suit.
put our
hoods
hoodies
on.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was just
Tie,
that.
yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
uses like
So if
the
you've
butt of an
ever
axe.
watched Adventure Time,
Yes,
there's a character called the Earl of Lemon Grab,
Lemon grab. Yeah.
and his voice is very screech.
It's very screechy. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
do an impression.
Oh no.
Unacceptable.
That's exactly
that's
it.
really
That's
good.
very
That
good.
was
That was very good.
That
It
is
really
really
hurts
good.
your vocal cords.
It
And
really
does.
does.
that quote is from him talking about how the castle he lives in is an unacceptable condition.
Yeah.
He says that many times in the show. Though.
Anyway, the clip that I've seen. So I go to the campfire and they're doing like the Finding Nemo. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh,
Yes.
and then I'm like, okay. And then Denver asks me, "What name have you chosen?" I'm like, Moose. And then I'm not going to keep doing the voice. And then I had to explain the reason why I chose the name. It had to be a good enough reason. I said, well, I like the campfire song with the moose, and I lead that song sometimes. So it seemed fitting, and it just kind of is outdoorsy. And then he yelled, "Acceptable!" And then you like, yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the
Nod the
nod.
heads.
Yes.
There's like a
Hatchet. It was a hatchet on wood. Yeah,
okay, you'd hit the bench
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
with
they'd all
the
nod.
back end, so you're not destroying the
Yes.
bench.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you'd all nod.
We'd all nod in.
I hope you guys are watching the video
It's
version of this. You can see the nodding.
And then if it's unacceptable, we go like
Yeah.
You shake your head.
to the side.
Just one shake. It's
Yeah.
all it's needed.
So, what would make a name unacceptable?
If it's
dumb.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. We let Risley in though.
I feel
We
like
did.
there was Risley.
Yeah.
Yes,
one of
that
our
was a
LITs.
very
One of our
interesting
LITs.
story.
One of the main reasons we were on the council is because our LITs were getting names as well. And it was kind of weird.
No
We
one
just
else was
sat there and there wasn't enough people. So we just went on the council.
Oh, you guys didn't even explain. You just said that you helped us out.
Yeah, we're just
So yeah, the head cabin leaders with the helping out of the counselors, they also trained like LITs, which
okay.
are leaders in training.
Right.
Yes.
So they
Yeah,
had like a
we
couple
did.
weeks of like
A month.
teaching. Well, a couple weeks each.
That was
How was that
Of, like,
experience?
awesome.
it was a learning experience for sure. This is great.
Two different responses. I loved it. It was
Yeah.
great.
It was good.
It was good.
The LITs are very fun.
They're really fun.
Yeah, the first group was so fun.
They were so fun. I loved them.
They were good. Lots of them.
I'm getting some sarcastic vibes.
All of them
So
were
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
But they caused issues.
What was something that, because you're in youth, you don't have to
Yeah.
worry about being responsible.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was
So, but in this role, you're like, oh, I'm the responsible one. I have to be in
yeah,
charge.
it was.
What was that like?
Well, it was definitely an issue. At times, it was definitely an issue because with the first group,
You just want to hang out with them because they're like kids from youth.
I kind of came off as being like one of them
Right.
in the beginning, right? And then they kind of just lost I lost all authority from the beginning. So then the first two
Yeah, that's a
weeks were like-
balance, right? Because
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when I first became a youth leader, and like, you just want to be friends with people, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to be friendly, but then you feel like you're losing their respect.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance. Like I feel like I try to have relationships with you guys, right? Like
Yeah.
I try to be friendly enough that like I know you guys. So when I have that relationship, I'd be like, no, I mean, I never have to do this with you guys. you guys are pretty good. I might have to tell you to shut up during that message or something, but
so true.
but like if you build a relationship with someone, I think it's a balance because you still have to like keep authority
Yeah.
and at the same time be like, no, I know you well enough that you should know better than
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
parents have relationships with their kids, right? They love
Right.
them, they hang out with
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's still this authority
Yeah,
of
they
like,
still have that.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you listen. I think the thing is you're afraid of being the bad guy.
Yeah.
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 Well,
You
then
don't-
I turned into the bad guy, and then
You
I
don't-
was just the bad guy.
You don't
And
want
then
to
it didn't really
be
work.
you don't want to be the party pooper, so then
time.
you're afraid of doing anything.
Yeah.
And then it's gotten out of hand. So now you really have to come down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then people are
Yeah.
like, wow, like why are you being so mean? Like you were fine with this 5
Yeah.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's you have to be okay with not that you should be rude. Not that you should
Yeah.
be like
No.
Yeah.
but
no.
you have to be okay with not being liked a little bit
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
to do what's right, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because it's like it's good for that person, right? Like, but yeah, it's not easy.
No.
So there would be times at youth where I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but this is what we have to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like with the kids, I thought that like I was starting to act just like how I act with like all the buddies at youth,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because like we fool around.
Yeah.
We fool around, but at times, for the most part, we know when to like stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's a joke, but then once it gets serious, we can like be quiet. But then
Kind of,
I
but yeah.
did this. Yeah, kind of. I said for the most part. For the most part, like I
Most of the
said.
time.
But for them, when I did it, the same thing. It's like I didn't realize that they don't know when to stop.
Right.
And then it gets like
Yeah.
they're out of control all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't ever like settle down.
Yeah.
And that was hard getting through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still times when like being a leader, like especially out of camp, I'm like, okay, I want to have fun and goof around with you guys, but like right now I have to make the hard choice to like, no,
Yeah.
I gotta be
Yeah.
with these kids. That's
Exactly.
especially difficult at camp, right? Because
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
like a
100%.
Tuesday night, I'm here from like 5 to like 10, maybe at the latest. And so like it's a long evening, but it's not that crazy long.
Yeah.
It's not like 24/7 for 5 days.
Yeah.
Like camp. So it's like it's hard because then you start to get like it's a marathon. There's a book I'm reading about youth ministry, and the guy describes it as it's a marathon because you got to keep going, you got to keep pushing, but you also have to like not push yourself so hard that you just like burn out, right? And
Yeah.
so like camp, it's like going into camp, I was like, okay, I just have to like take it slow and not go super crazy the first few days because I'm just gonna get so tired and so burnt out that like I'm like gonna have to trust my
Yeah.
co-counselor Ben here is gonna be okay. Ben's inner football coach came out a few times. He's like,
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
in
see,
the cabin, he's
That's
like,
true.
I don't want to see this. You guys
don't
know
wanna
better than
see
this.
this.
There's like
I-
those moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm the co-leader, right? I don't have to be upset.
I had this idea in the early part of camp where it's like the first couple days
You gotta
it's-
whip them into shape.
I have to let them know about the rules and stuff like that. So it's like go really hard on them,
Yeah.
but not like too
Not
hard.
too hard,
Yeah.
but just to like make it understandable. Because then,
Yeah.
like the first few days, and then the rest, they're like,
and then
okay,
the rest
I
they understand
Yeah.
exactly. So
They
it's
don't
like
need to be told.
the first couple days, it's like make sure they're in the line because it's like the way that
You
we
give
do
them an
it.
inch, they'll take a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that we did it was like you lined up outside of the chapel and then you would go in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But we wouldn't let them
Dinner,
go
are
in.
you American?
Supper.
Dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't
You can
let
say
them,
dinner.
we wouldn't necessarily let them go in until they were in a straight line
Right.
and they weren't talking. Because, like, and we're all guilty of this as well. We would, like, we want to talk to our friends, so we'll,
Yeah.
like, group up and we'll.
I feel
Yeah.
like
We'll talk.
Zahid was the worst for
Yeah.
that.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So bad.
But yeah, after that couple days of like letting them know that this is how we're gonna do it, they started to understand. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like it's only like
was-
if they're good, it's only like a minute before they go in, and then they can talk to their friends after. So it's like
Yeah.
as long as you're patient with them and you let them know the rules, then it works.
There was the one day at chapel we were looking for one of our boys, and I like just went to the cabin, and he's just like laying down. I'm like, you very clearly know it's chapel. Like the
Yeah.
bell rang, everyone was running in here grabbing their Bibles. I'm like, and you're just chilling. He's like, yeah, I was tired. I'm like, okay,
Okay. yeah.
I had that.
you
too.
still like you can't just like ditch and not
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
One of our campers, he was sleeping in the cabin during chapel,
Yeah.
and then like Zahid was my cabin co-partner,
Yeah,
Yeah.
co-leader.
Co-leader.
So it was
Co-partner.
like I don't know if that was a very good choice because we're both like. anyway,
the laid
it
back
worked
one.
great.
I'm glad you're self-aware.
Anyway, it was pretty
Glad.
good. It was.
You
pretty
guys
fun.
are really good friends.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to co-lead with a really
Yeah.
good friend.
Yeah, but it turned out okay.
Yeah.
But one of our
Was
campers,
that the week I was out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
One of our camp. It was. I can't.
Oh
can
yeah,
we
no,
say
you shouldn't
names?
know.
Yeah, we don't say
No,
that.
no, no.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was the one.
The
The
one.
one.
Oh,
That one.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I know.
anyway, so
The
he was
one.
supposed to go in for like an appointment he was supposed to leave. So we
Oh,
didn't
that-
know.
that-
Yeah.
The cast.
Yeah, the cast. Okay, we'll call him
Yeah.
cast. So cast had to go in for his cast.
Right.
Anyway, so he was gonna leave at some point of the day. His dad was gonna come. So then we were like counting them off, and we were in chapel. We already did the songs. We already did the actions. We're sitting down, and then I'm like, "Where's Cast? He's not here, right?" And then I'm asking Zahid, like, "Where is he?" And he's like, "Oh, I think his dad picked him up.
Like,
He
no,
must have. He's
yet.
not here."
My
Yeah.
gosh.
Anyway, so I go to the cabin, and he's just sleeping
Oh man.
in the cabin, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "It's chapel."
He was pretty tired though.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
him and his
other
brother, they
reasons.
were there.
That's
for a
that's
long
how it is.
time.
There's
Yeah.
always one or two kids that are like homesick or they
Yeah.
don't want to do things, but
So I have a funny
Yeah.
camp story.
Okay.
do tell.
I grew up going to Whispering Pines too, at like from grade 1 on, and so the first year I went out, like my mom, like she had friends who had kids who had been going to camp, and they're like, oh yeah, they would get homesick, and we'd have to go pick them up. So my mom's like, oh, maybe I should just like go out for a day to help in the kitchen, and just check in on Levi. And so it's like the bell rings or something for like I don't even know if they had the bell back then. It might have been like something else,
A whistle.
a whistle, but maybe. And it was like for craft time, so we had to.
Ooh.
Our
Oh.
group had to go on for craft time in the chapel.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm walking up, and my mom's standing there. She's like, "Hey, Levi." I'm like, "Mom, not right now. I have
right now.
craft."
I have craft.
And I just
Step
walk
aside.
into the chapel, and she's like, "All right, clearly you're fine."
I don't have time for you
And
right now.
maybe hurt her feelings a little bit. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, I don't even think I processed why she was there. I'm like, why are you out here? But yeah, she was like, oh, I'm just here to help in the kitchen, but really checking on Levi. But yeah, I never struggled with being homesick. I
Wow.
didn't understand that. I'm like, dude, there's less rules out here.
There's less rules.
Our parents aren't telling us what to do. But yeah, no, it was like fun. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that you run into, right?
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest learning curve? Like, so Ben, was this your first time being
This
a
was my
leader?
first time out here. Yeah.
Yeah, but have you been a camp leader before?
No, I have done like XP56 and I
Right.
did Just Boys and Wonderworld and stuff like that. So
Right.
I'm not new
Yeah,
to teaching,
it's
but
still
this is my first
familiar.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But being at camp is a whole different thing.
A whole
Yes.
yeah, it's a whole
You're
different
sharing
thing.
a cabin with all these kids.
It's like being thrown in the deep end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't go home every night.
No,
No.
you don't go to your own bed.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the biggest struggle was like I was very tired the
Yeah.
first week because it's
Yeah.
like you're not used, and these kids,
You're
it's
getting
like,
used to that bed too. That's honestly a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the kids, I'm not used to being woken up 3 or 4 times to ask to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So it'll be like 2 in the morning and some kid will ask and then I'll take them. And then they all wake up at like 5 in the morning. So I was like, I have to
Just
be
a
up.
little sneak peek at being a parent.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, it was a very tiring first couple weeks. But it's like,
I don't think the week that I was out there, any of the kids just
no.
either they didn't go to the bathroom or they just didn't ask.
No. It was like, yeah. As they get older, they're better with it, but it's like the younger ones.
Yeah.
But I think I like to say that it was like I didn't do that by myself. Like
Yeah.
with the strength of God that
Yeah.
He gave me the strength to keep going and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which
when I
was
was
really good.
when I was out there last summer, I was like, it had been a while since I'd been a cabin leader, and so like just not used to like sleeping on a bed that's not that comfortable.
Yes.
And no offense,
Sorry, Denver.
it is
I'm
what
sure
it
his
is.
bed is nice.
Yeah, he's got probably a better
Yeah.
bed. But just
He
like
has a camp bed.
bunk beds
They
in
got
their house.
bunk beds.
But it was just like, yeah, it threw me off because it was also like I wasn't prepared. Like I last minute decided to go out and help because they really needed people. And it's just like, just thrown into it. So like this year I was like, I knew that it was going to be a marathon and I just needed strength. And I'm like, I'm getting like a little foam topper for my mattress because I got to be able to sleep good.
Yeah.
And the first night first night's always hardest. The second night, all the kids are there, and this one kid who's just in the bed next to mine snores.
Oh boy.
It doesn't matter if he's on his back or on his side or
Yeah.
how he's laying. He snores
Yeah.
consistently.
We tried,
when you're
yeah.
a kid, when I was younger, I like had sleepover with friends. They would like snore for like 10 minutes and then they turn over and it stopped. And they were like, okay, I can fall asleep now.
Yeah.
This kid did not stop snoring.
Yeah, we tried. We asked him. We were like, "Can you try and sleep a different way so
Yeah,
you're not
can you like
snoring?"
can you
Can you
sleep?
just stop
I was like,
snoring?
man, you snore a lot, and he's like, yeah, it's because
Oh
I
my
sleep on my
gosh.
back.
It's the
And I'm like,
worst
you should
feeling.
try
Yeah.
sleeping on your side. And he's
He
like,
slept
I
on
can't,
his side?
I can't help it. I just roll onto my back. But then I go on the cab and he's already asleep, and he's on his side snoring. I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're just gonna snore no matter what.
Yeah.
And then I discovered like 2 days in that the camp had earplugs, so I was like, bingo.
Oh, that was like the whole thing that we were
Forget you,
talking about.
campers.
You were just like the best thing about camp with those earplugs.
Yeah, yeah. So got a
Yeah.
decent sleep. Anyways, I feel like I cut you off. But like, yeah, not getting enough sleep was one of the issues you're running
my
into.
goodness.
Yeah, especially when it's like, because we have every morning we had a meeting, like
Right.
a meeting with the cabin.
Yeah.
So it's or not a meeting with the counselors. So
Yeah.
it's like you had to wake up at 7:45, I think it was,
Yeah.
and then it moved up to 8
So
as they
glad
got
I did.
older. So it was like it was really difficult to wake up really early and then get like maybe an hour and then have to wake up again. And some of us, they gave us alarm clocks, like, but they were like little square ones.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if it fell off my bed, I would not hear it. So it's like, but a kid next to me and they would wake me up. So it was like sometimes I would just be late.
Yeah, I
to the
didn't
meetings.
trust those clocks, so I would just go into the office and grab my phone to use
Yeah.
as an alarm clock.
I was lucky. I have a one on my watch.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just use that.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sorry, Rhea.
Sorry, Rhea.
I broke the rule, but I wanted to wake up.
yeah.
Yeah. Those early morning meetings, they can be tough. Also, to be present there, like they're there, but like mentally, you're like
You're not there.
still
Yes.
waking up. You're like,
Yeah.
what did you ask? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And we sit on so the counselors have these like couch type chairs and they're really comfy.
Yes.
So it's
And then you
like
start falling asleep.
you'll
again.
start falling asleep again and it's really bad.
It's better to
We
sit
have
in
a
those
picture
chairs.
of you. We have a picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
you
Oh,
in one of the chairs.
Dude,
Sleeping.
okay.
Emma
Yeah.
took
So-
a ton of photos of everyone
so
falling
funny.
asleep in
It's
those
so
couches.
funny.
Yes.
Yeah, so like we said, my mom was one of the speakers one week, and I was so tired that I fell asleep on the big couch,
Oh,
like
that
the
big
really
chair.
nice one,
Yes,
yeah,
the
the nice
comfy
chair.
one.
And my mom
That
took a
chair's
picture,
dangerous.
He was knocked out.
and
We were,
then
like,
I
taking
was
pictures.
done. My mouth was open, and it was like, yeah. So it was you, and it was two of the LITs, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, there was another person. Oh,
Was
no,
it? No, I think it was.
there?
No, it wasn't.
No, he
Sahid.
wasn't there.
It was two of the LITs.
No, but we were doing like a trumpet pose and stuff.
and then they
behind-
like leaned in and like
it's
tried to
just like,
kiss me. It was so.
Oh my god.
It was not fun, but yeah, definitely
So a little
sleep.
sleep
It was
deprived.
fun.
Sleep
Yeah.
deprived, and also I have a very bad morning voice. Like my morning voice is very deep, so it's
I think that's every guy has a deep
yeah.
morning voice.
It's
though.
like no, but it's like I sound like Batman when I wake up. So it's like I went to go talk.
Where were the other kids going? Where are they? Why are you in bed?
And people
What are
could,
you doing up there? You think this is a joke? Joker.
yeah, I went to go talk and like nobody can understand what I was saying because my voice.
Jesus Christ. Do you trust him
Do you trust him?
with your whole heart?
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Mordecai. What about you? What was the big thing that was difficult, but you got through, you overcame, and you learned.
The LITs probably.
the LITs.
Yeah. Establishing
That-
authority.
That leadership.
Yeah, it was really.
But what did you get from that? It was
What did I
tough,
get?
but what did you take away from that? What was
did I
something
take
that helped you grow through that? I feel like I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. Sorry.
You are putting
I'm
me
sorry.
on the
Answer right
It's
now. You
okay.
got 3 seconds.
Okay. I
Alright,
messed
get,
up.
just
That's 3
get a little
seconds.
closer to your mic too. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be
I
like
think-
Charlie.
I think yeah, it's just the way that you like approach the LITs,
Right.
like when they
Yeah.
come in. Like for the first LIT program, like I said, I came off as more of a friend
Right.
than actually an authority. And then the second time, like the first one, I had to turn into the authority.
Right.
Like I was a friend and then I turned into the authority.
You're like, okay, I have to gain back the
yeah,
respect,
yeah.
work towards this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for
Yeah.
the second one, I tried establishing the authority and then becoming a friend. So it's more of like they still have like that sense in the back of their mind that it's
Right.
like he's the authority.
You're still in charge.
But
yeah.
then I can start being a friend and then they're like, oh, I like this guy, but they still remember the authority
Right.
part. Right.
He's in charge, but we
Yeah.
can still have fun together.
Instead, the other way it would have been like, hey, he's a friend, but then all of a sudden I like do
Yeah,
something and then they're
right.
like, whoa, what the heck? Cuts
Where
them
did
off
this come
guard,
from?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's harder to get cut off guard by like someone being mean than someone fooling around.
And it's
Right.
like, and that's the thing. You feel like you're being mean,
Yeah.
but you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
It's
just
true.
you've set boundaries at the start. And so that's the thing is like, especially at youth, I say, no, this is the rules. I'm going to tell you them clearly. And if you continue to like disrespect that and not listen, like I'll give you warnings because sometimes
Yeah.
it's easy to forget. I get it. You slip up, but I'll give warnings. I'm like, okay, like, you know this, like, I don't want to like send you home or anything, but that's the thing. It's like, you feel like you're being mean, but they're making a choice, right?
Yeah.
They're making a choice to go against the rules that have been established.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot. You're not asking a lot. That's the other thing I was saying, like, not asking much of you. Like, this is pretty simple. It's not like I'm,
Yeah.
oh, these are the specific things I want you to do. And if you, like, if you stand up to go to the bathroom during worship, then you have to go home or something. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
being,
Yeah.
I'm not being unfair.
Yeah.
Pretty simple rules to follow, just like, and so it's but you feel like you're being mean,
Yeah.
and that's a hard thing to overcome. Yeah,
It is.
yeah. So that was a big
Oh yeah.
learning curve for you,
Oh yeah, it was huge because like I was just a cabin leader before.
because there no last year you didn't have to deal with that at all in any way.
No, not the LIT
yeah,
program.
yeah,
It was Bree doing
Right.
the LIT program by herself.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's why they got me because she was head cabin leader.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then they're like, "Hey, let's get a male cabin leader in because the head cabin leader is supposed to be like counseling
Right.
for all the cabin leaders." So it was kind of weird getting like boys
Yeah.
are more open to boys and then girls
Yeah.
are more open to girls,
Right.
Yeah.
right? So they thought, let's get a girl
Just
head
makes
cabin
sense.
leader
Yeah.
and a boy head cabin leader. And then there were 2 separate LIT programs this year.
Yeah.
When
Right.
last year there was only one.
Okay.
And each one's 2 weeks, right? So
Right.
it was 4 weeks
Oh, wow.
this summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like they did
Thanks.
really good.
Thanks.
Calico, Victoria.
Yes.
What about you? What was the big thing that you took away from this summer? Were you out there last summer?
Yes,
You
I
were?
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Was that your first time being a cabin leader last summer? Yeah, true.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, last summer.
What did you learn this year? What was kind of your big takeaway?
There is so much this summer. I feel like
Yeah.
every summer there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
But this summer, sorry, he's moving the mic closer. This summer, I think one of like the big things I had to learn was like the balance of like doing work and like having fun with the kids,
Right.
because both was really important.
You don't want to be
do.
so concerned and caught up in the details that you're
Yes.
not present with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was me at the beginning. I was like always in the office or like always doing some work, planning a Devo, planning a session for the LITs, because I wanted to make sure that they came away learning.
Who did those devotionals? Like the soap study things, or it was like read
I
this.
think
read
it
I
this.
was
was
wondering,
Rhea.
did they make
It
them
was
or did they
Rhea
get
and
them off the internet?
Jamila, I think.
Did they make them or did they get
Yeah,
them online?
I think they made them.
They might
No
have
way.
made.
Did they make them?
They might have.
Candace,
think?
did they make them?
Did they?
No, they
make-
didn't.
They got them online.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they got them
Okay,
online.
well,
They were really good.
Yes,
they were.
I want to figure out where they got them from because I'm like, I want to do all the other ones they have.
version.
It was good. I'm like, this is
YouVersion?
just.
The
You
Bible app?
version.
I like how simple they were.
Yeah.
and it's really easy to digest. Good job finding them.
Good job,
and
Rhea and Jamila.
And they were relatively good for the kids as well.
Yeah.
Especially that little, because it was like, so the way that
Just
they
some
were
simple questions, you know.
Yeah, it was like 2 verses, and then it was like a little paragraph.
2 chunks.
2 chunks, yeah. And then it was
Not
like a
like one.
paragraph of briefly describing it, and then.
And I
we could
like
take
how
away.
they tied together. You know, something,
Yeah.
typically something from the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Yeah.
They tied together really well.
Yeah.
And I feel like the stuff from the New Testament helped me understand the Old Testament stuff better. Then I'm like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, sorry to cut you off. Yeah. So doing work and being present. That's yeah. If you're not careful, you can get carried away with that.
Yeah.
So what did you do to overcome that? What did you?
Well,
You just have to be
Jordan
intentional.
helped a lot with that because
Good
he
job,
was the
Jordan.
complete
And Ben.
opposite of me. I was doing
What's work?
Yes, that was exactly what happened. He was like hanging out with people all the time, and I was doing all the work.
You're like, what are you doing?
And I was like, but I had to figure
Hanging out
out.
with the boys.
Sounds
we
like a
both had to
story
figure
from the
out the
Bible.
middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this work and she's just
Dude,
chatting
I
with
felt
you.
like such a Martha this whole summer, for real. I felt like such a bad guy, but anyways, I had to find the middle of like I need to chill out and not be stressed, and he needed to be less chill, and it was
It's a bit of like a like kind of a curve when you're a leader because you're like not responsible really. You're just being the friend.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I need to be responsible, but then you kind of overcompensate.
yes,
And then
Yeah.
you're too focused
And then
on the
we're too
details, and
focused.
then you're not present.
Yeah.
then you
too
kinda-
responsible.
And then you got to balance it. Well, I mean,
Yes.
I don't know if you can be too responsible, but like, if all you're doing is just the work to make the camp happen, like if all you did is just like make sure everything happened at camp, and didn't have relationships with the kids, there'd be like that's zero ministry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what is the point?
Yeah. That's true.
Why are you doing
It's
this?
like building a house and not living in it.
Yeah, because then it's like some random person is coming up to you who you have no relationship with, and is like, "Hey, so do you want to accept Jesus into your heart?" It's like,
I don't know
don't
you.
know
I don't know
Who
you.
are you?
Are you?
It's like, oh, I think Jesus would make a difference in your life. You're like, you don't even know my life. You don't even
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
me. You don't
It's
even
my
understand
time.
anything about me.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why that relationship aspect is so important. Like, it's
Yeah.
important to make sure that you're getting stuff done, you're taking care of stuff, but then also to be present and to be in the moment
Yeah.
and to have relationships with those campers.
You need to
Yeah.
have that middle ground.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's still hard for me to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, it's definitely a learning curve.
Exactly. And there's like a point where you need to like put that trust put that trust in God for a sense of like I'm here to
What
do
do I need to
ministry.
do right now? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here for God.
Yeah.
So like I'm
does he
not
want you to
doing
do?
Yeah.
I'm not doing all of this work. It's not only me that's doing the work, like God's doing the majority of the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no matter how much work I do,
Giving you the
Yeah.
wisdom. on
God
what
can
to
use
do.
it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you need to trust that He's gonna provide.
I think it's easy to think, yeah, like sometimes like to make ministry into an equation. You're like, if I do these 3 things, it should equal this many salvations.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
And it's
not
like,
how
yeah.
it works.
It's not just like you can just do the work and it happens. I mean, like on your own, right?
Yeah.
You just try and plan stuff. You're like, okay, if I set up an event and I make sure there's food there, people will come and they will be saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that, there needs to be, I'll set up this event that is fun and engaging and enjoyable for the youth. I'll have food there that they like, they enjoy, so we can break bread together, have conversation, build relationships, and then through those relationships, ask about what's going on in their life. So it's like that. Sure, those details matter, but they don't just equal ministry.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have to let God work through you in those details for ministry to happen. Yeah, it's super important.
And it's like one of the tough things is like sometimes because the kids, especially the boys, I don't know if the girls, they like to make jokes
Right.
during the discussions that we have.
Oh yeah,
It was
I was
like,
bad. I'm still bad for that.
yeah, it was like the difference between us is like we're older, so we're mature, so we'll crack jokes, but then we'll get back. But like
Yeah.
some of the kids were like,
I have to bite my tongue, honestly, so
Yeah.
much. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got
Relentless.
5 jokes going through my head during tequilas, and I'm like, no,
No.
You have
yeah,
to, like,
not right now.
hold back. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you have to know the point where there's a difference between actual serious conversation and time for joking around.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't focus on, like, you can't be so hard on them, because even though they're making jokes, they're still listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you're still planting seeds in their mind. So it's like, as long as you know that is getting in their head, and it's like the information that you're talking about.
You don't want to get so off course that they're completely just like forgetting about what you're talking
the
about.
main point of what this is
But
about.
you can't force them to understand or force them to, like, you just have to, like, and that was honestly, that was a great thing. One of the first devotions was, I think it was Ezekiel.
Probably.
Do you guys remember
Yes.
Ezekiel, where he's like,
Yeah.
God's just like, hey, just go to these people and tell them
Yeah.
what the message I
Yeah.
have for them.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't get it. Which is a weird thing to say to God. You don't get it. I don't know if he said that exactly, but they don't.
They don't like
They're not
me.
going to hear that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't like me. They're not going to receive that. And he's like, okay, thanks for the advice.
Thanks. Vivian.
Just go tell them
Yeah.
like I told you to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't get, no, just do what I've asked
Yeah.
you. I'm God and you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a hard thing for me, growing up, is just like, how do I make this message more, or the whatever kind of message or idea or thing we're trying to get across? How do I make this more palatable? How do I make this easier to accept, to understand? And God's just like, you don't need to. I'm the one that does the work. You just need to be the messenger. And you just need to go, be the hands and feet, and just say what I'm asking you to say, and I'll do the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you want to see the work that God is doing in people's lives, because it's cool. But there's a point where it starts to become about yourself, and you're like, oh, this person became a Christian or grew in their faith because of what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it starts to become about yourself. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
And so you just have to accept that you're going to say something to someone, plant that seed or water it or whatever terminology you want to use. But you're not going to see, you might not see the whole picture. And you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to be okay with, right? Like all those kids at camp, you want to see all of them come to, and there was a lot of kids that came to Jesus.
There was
So many.
There
Yeah.
was so many. And it was
Shout out to
great.
Candace for being the hands and feet. But yeah, there were so many kids that you feel like you're. It's happened a few times where I'm like, man, this kid's not even listening. They're not even getting anything. And then years
Yeah.
later, they're like, oh, I remember this one time when we were having a service and it spoke so much to me. I'm like, really? You were just like not paying attention at all. But
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on in their heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess this could be a little bit of promo for Whispering Pines. What would you say to anyone else about being a cabin leader? Why should someone do it? Why should someone consider that?
It's very like we said, it's very tiring. It's like it's hard to get through to them, but it's like
You're not selling it.
You're not selling like
It's so
sucks.
tiring.
It's gonna be
It
terrible.
sucks.
You're not
keep
gonna-
going. Keep going.
But in the very end, when you see, like, usually it's Thursday when we ask them to do the prayer. In the very end, when you see all those
The fruits
kids,
of it. Yeah.
the fruits of your labor and stuff like that, and everything that you've worked for,
Mm-hmm.
just all of these, and you see all these kids who, like, you didn't expect to be as accepting to this, or who
Mm-hmm. It's
are
encouraging,
willing.
right? Because you're
It's-
like,
yeah.
all this work, like you're
Paid
saying,
off.
you're like, I don't know. I don't think these kids are getting it, but you're just doing what God's asking you to do.
Yeah.
And at the end, you're like, oh, you were working in their hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see everything. And then it helps build that trust, right, with God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we're in that circle where it's like we're all praying for each other and it's like we're all crying and stuff like that, it's very,
Okay, that was so cool.
it's a very great thing.
That second group that came, so a bunch of guys stayed, and we're
Yeah.
all praying together. And then there was this other group. They came back and they sit down, and they're all
Yeah.
just crying, but they all got grins on their face.
Yeah.
And
It
I'm
was like, yeah.
and what, how can I pray for you guys? Like, what's going on in your heart? And they're like just shrugging, like grinning and crying, and they're like, I don't know,
Because we had
like it's the joy of the Lord, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
feeling. And they're like, yeah, like they just feel
I guess
happy,
so.
and
Yeah.
they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
Because it's like we did that big prayer, and then I asked the counselors to stay so we could all pray for each other.
Yeah,
Because it's like, in a way, this
in your
camp is
formal outfit,
Yes. In our formal
they looked a
outfits.
little bit
in the,
Mormon.
the t-shirt with the tie. Yeah. We told them to leave. Like, not told them because we had like
We
this
dismissed
party.
them.
We dismissed them. Yeah. Because we had the party.
Yeah.
And we just saw like a group of them come back and sit down and start praying for each other, and it's like
That was cool.
that was a really powerful thing, and that was like we didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
Like we thought they would be excited to get ready for the party and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but to just see them all,
They're just like, no, we need some more time to sit and pray together.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was especially because like I was saying, this camp is just as much for the counselors as it is for the campers.
Yeah, well, that's the
Yes.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want to talk to you guys, right? Is like,
Yeah.
it's not about just the kids growing in their faith. Things
It's
have happened
us
in your
too.
lives
Yes.
too. You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And
Even
there-
mine too, right? Like the
Yeah.
whole thing about just like being the messenger and not being concerned about how it's being received.
Yeah.
I think that was big for me.
There were times where it was like when I was talking to kids or if they felt down, it was like I could not have helped out in the way that I did without asking God for like giving me the words to say to reach this person to help them feel better and stuff like that. And it was like it was a great experience, and I feel like just being in this camp, experiencing everything that I did helped me grow and strengthen in my faith, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think like us being able to see that, like we were talking about how we had to be okay with not seeing the fruit of our work, but like when God gives us blessings like that, where we get to see
where you
it,
get to see what he's
Yeah.
done.
it's like
yeah.
that's like true motivation
Yeah.
for like.
He's like, come here, I want to show you something.
it's like check this
Yeah.
out, and it's
Yeah.
cool to think that God's doing stuff all around the world, like,
Yeah.
all the time, like stuff like that,
Yeah.
and we don't see it. And then sometimes when He does show us it, it's
Yeah.
like He is working.
He's showing
still
his
working.
power.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
See? And there was a kid that was just a bit difficult to work with. And I'm not saying that to be mean. He just was a bit
Was.
difficult. And I'm still glad he was out there.
Yeah.
Because his buddies were like, hey, prayer time, let's peace out. They've let us, they said we could go. But he's like, no, we got to stay. And
Yeah.
he walked
Yeah.
over to our group and started praying with us, which was incredible to see him make that step. If you're listening, you know who you are. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did that.
I'm
If you're
proud
listening.
of
Yeah.
I'm
So
proud
proud.
of
Proud of those
every
boys.
every
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Because it's like even though a lot of like some of the kids weren't in my cabin, it was still great to like
We still
pray.
connected with other
We still
cabs too,
connected
yeah.
with every single
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah, like so it's like seeing them all in that circle and like having them stick around instead of go downstairs to play games or go outside and play and just to stick around and pray with everybody else. It was a very powerful moment.
Yeah.
And it was like that those moments were the reason that I like love camp so much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything that we did paid off, and like it's not just all work and stuff. Like
Yeah.
we still had like fun times and
I
stuff.
think
like
people
that.
can make summer camp about what's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a climbing wall. Oh, we've got archery. We've got pellets. We've got RCs. Like, cool. That's fun stuff to do. But just getting out
Yeah.
into that nature, into that scenery. It's not super far away from town, which is nice. And just being able to disconnect from
Yeah.
the noise of everyday life.
No technology.
Yeah,
and
it's-
just to be present with God and what
Yeah.
He wants
Yeah.
to say to you.
it's cool being out there.
Yeah.
Like with the stars too. Remember we had like
Oh
the
my
people
gosh,
come
dude,
in,
the stars
guy
were
come
so
in.
nice.
Yeah.
It was cool.
You
Yeah.
try to
The
take the
astrology
That one
guy?
picture you took at the youth retreat with
Yeah.
the northern lights.
No, I got more. Oh,
Yeah.
oh the lights. Yeah,
The
yeah,
northern
yeah.
lights
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
youth retreat
That was
was
cool.
near. Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, like the stuff at like camp, like all the activities and stuff, those like as you get
It's
older,
great.
it's great. But like
Yeah.
as you get older and you've done it like
You
a
realize
million
the
times before.
relationships with people
Yeah.
and the
It's-
ministries.
yeah,
That is the reason
that's
that
the
we're
reason you
out
come.
here.
That's
Exactly.
the heart of the camp.
Like
Yeah.
you don't go to play RC cars anymore or
Yeah.
do those things because you've done them like a million times. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this is the same thing over and over again, and
Yeah.
you're not a kid anymore, so it doesn't
Yeah.
seem as exciting.
Well,
like,
It's still
sometimes,
fun.
sometimes,
Sometimes.
right?
That's not why you went
That's
out.
not why
Yeah.
you go there. You
Yeah.
go there
you go
for, like,
for the friendships.
Yeah,
that
your
you
friends
make.
you have there,
Yeah.
like the cabin leaders.
Yeah.
Because we were all just the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being the cabin leaders.
Yeah.
It's just like
You would not believe how many people were excited to see Eli out there. Like he couldn't. It got to a point where it was like Julie, who's Denver's wife,
Yeah.
she wouldn't let him change his name because everybody, all
Right.
the
Yeah.
kids were like, "Is Four
His
going to
name
be
was
there?"
Four,
Yeah,
yeah.
his
It's
name was
4.
It's
Is he
4.
coming?
Yeah,
If
all
you
the
wanted
kids were
to
like,
change it to 5,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, because there were so many kids that were like, "Is Four going to be there?
Yeah.
Is Four going to be there?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, even if you're young enough for the games and stuff like that, you still
You
make
still
those,
have that. Yeah.
yeah, connections with the cabin
Yeah.
leaders and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which I think is why it's so important to just not work as much and well still work, but like have that middle ground of ministry and then also work as well.
Victoria, what about you? What would you say to someone considering working out at camp?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should.
yeah.
Do it.
You should do that.
Exactly. Just do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I think like we're talking about, as much as it's impactful for all the kids that come, it's also like God is working in the kids' lives, but He's also working in yours.
He's working in everyone's
Everybody,
lives.
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like from the 2 years that I've been there, there's always some staff that either come to know Christ personally,
Yeah.
or like they get baptized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And-
had the 1 week I came out the Sunday
Yeah.
we had the baptism.
We
We
did.
had the
Yeah.
baptism. Yeah.
And then you went
Star,
into the
yeah.
water.
I did.
Fully
Fully
clothed.
clothed.
Yeah,
Clothes.
you just like
It
went in,
was
like
amazing.
not a,
Very-
not a
very
swimsuit.
interesting.
You just
Yeah.
walked
No,
into
you
the
just
water.
walked in.
During
Jeans, with
beach day,
jeans.
during beach day, you
I
wouldn't
didn't
necessarily go
swim.
swim.
Yeah.
But the one
Insane.
time
Like,
when
is it
you're fully
baptism?
clothed,
I'm just gonna walk into the water.
it was so funny because
Victoria, you good?
You good?
Yeah, everyone
Jordan,
asked me
you're
that like
planning on going in
every
the water.
5
Did you fall-
minutes.
Did you fall in?
You fall in? Yeah.
Jordan was driving her back too.
I
so
know,
it was
and
like-
she didn't tell me
Yeah,
she was
you're
going to go in
like-
the water.
you're
Well,
gonna get my
I
seat
didn't know
all
I
wet.
was
Yeah,
going
I
in the water.
I was like, I have a
Yeah, I was like,
tarp in
I've
my
got a
trunk.
tarp in my.
I-
Yeah, you have a tarp.
I could throw on your seat.
Dude, I just changed.
Yeah.
It was no big deal.
Like, why are you guys so worried?
It was so
Why are you
you
so
were in
worried?
you were in jeans too,
I
which was
was.
like very interesting.
You went in with your watch, and you didn't know if your watch was waterproof.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I did.
You bought a watch specifically
Anyways, to
for
get
camp.
yeah, I bought a Casio. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Casio.
But it's so true that God is working in everyone's hearts, and I think there's been years as a counselor where I'm like, no, I don't want to go out. I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't got much else going. Like there was 1 year I didn't have any work at the time, so I was like, you know what? I don't have anything else going on. Sure, I'll go out and do some work. Be fine, whatever. But I was not expecting what God was going to be doing in my heart
Yeah.
that week.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how old you are or how much you think you're a better Christian than anyone else or whatever,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you feel like you're like, no, I've reached peak Christianity. I don't need to learn anymore. Or you feel like you're far away from God. Camp's a great place to serve.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to grow and to just disconnect from the noise of the world. And I'm really proud of you guys for being out there, for serving,
Thanks.
and everyone
Thank you.
else. Everyone else who may be watching,
Good
who
job,
went out
cabin
to Whispering
leaders.
Good
Pines.
job, guys.
Good job,
You know who
guys.
you are.
And really thankful for Julie and Denver for their ministry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, keep growing, keep serving. You know, if you feel like there's a weekend you want to throw your phone in a Rubbermaid bin, you can still do that. You don't
Yeah.
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 need Rhea
Just
to
do
be
that.
able
It was
to
really
ask you to
nice.
do that.
It was really
It was really
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Really
It was.
nice.
Yeah. I think just the atmosphere of being out of camp and being surrounded by God's word like all the time is just great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like living at church.
And we're gonna have a youth retreat in the fall.
Yeah.
So
Rats.
a little mini one.
I'm not gonna be there.
Oh.
You can volunteer
hate
still.
rats.
We could FaceTime you in.
FaceTime me,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
FaceTime.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Please.
Yeah, if you guys have questions about camp or even about Whispering Pines Camp, you can head to their website. It'll be in the description. You can message them, ask them about it. But yeah, thanks for coming, guys, and we'll catch everyone later. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.